what's the difference between Paleo Hebrew, ancient Hebrew, and biblical Hebrew? I'm asking you because these words are seeming to be used interchangeably. Number one, what is Hebrew? So that's what they all have in common, is the word Hebrew. So essentially, you're trying to, if you say Paleo Hebrew, you're trying to find out in what is the oldest form of Hebrew. But the word Hebrew is not a word that was used in the language for the Bible. So when you're asking for Paleo Hebrew, it's the wrong question. And so I did make a video about the origin of the word Hebrew and the real name of the biblical language. It will be in a video right here. I'll put it up right here. You can leave this video and go check that out. The rest of you, if you know the difference between Paleo, ancient, and biblical Hebrew, we could just leave it here. Really, really, these words are all used interchangeably. Biblical Hebrew, let's talk in terms of Manakati. Those of you who know Manakati. Which one is Manakati? Well, biblical Hebrew, number one, we're going to have to take out the word Hebrew, because we know that the Bible was written in Aramaic. How do you spell Aramaic? Aramaic. Gosh, my spelling is trash. We know that the Bible was written in Aramaic and Yahudit. It wasn't written in any other language. But those of us who watched my video also know that Yahudit and Aramaic, they both come from one language, the language of the Noahic people, the language of Noah and their three sons when they were at the Tower of Babel. So both of these languages are actually similar to each other, and many words are similar because they have a mother tongue, which is Manakati. This is what I have revealed in my book, Primitive Sign Language, the Etymology of Ancient Biblical Hebrew, Volume 1. So when you're asking what is Paleo Hebrew, what is ancient Hebrew, what is biblical Hebrew, after you see that it's not Hebrew and that the Bible was not written in Hebrew, it was written in Aramaic or Judean. That's what the word Yahudi could potentially be translated as, Judean or Aramaic. The mother tongue is the pure communication for both Aramaic and Yahudit. So what is Paleo Yahudit? Well, Paleo Yahudit would be the very first version of a unique language following the Tower of Babel. So the original language at the Tower was Manakati, and the languages diverted. One went that way, one went that way, kind of like with the Latin language. Spanish came from it, French came from it, Portuguese comes from it, and other languages come from it. And so there's a Latin language, and then there's other languages, and then there's Spanish language has their own line of other languages that come from Spanish, and there's different dialects of Portuguese as well. And so the linguistic phenomenon of language is that it keeps evolving. Okay, language doesn't stay steady. So Manakati is gone, kind of like Latin. It's still there, but it's not pure. Latin is no longer pure because the Italians, they don't speak pure Latin. The French, no, they don't, and neither do the Spanish or the Portuguese. There was a version of Latin that organized words differently. This is the same for Manakati. You can find Manakati words in Judean or Yahudi. You can find Manakati words in Aramaic. Whenever they tend to agree with each other and they make sense in the hand sign and in the communication and symbols, that's where you can see Manakati. And this is what I'm starting to realize, is that at first I was saying that the Bible was really written in Manakati, but sometimes Aramaic has been right. And Yahudit has been wrong. The biblical Hebrew has been wrong. And I've noticed that in the Bible. So the Bible was written in two languages, Aramaic and Yahudit, and sometimes Aramaic will definitely be right. And it's my job. I took it upon myself because I know the origins of the symbols. If you don't know the origin of the symbols, and you don't know the hand signs, and you don't know the meaning of the symbols, you're not going to be able to figure out, okay, which one is the actual pure word for this word or for that word. You're not going to know. But you can read my book, Primitive Sign Language, and you will get a clue, and you will know. You could figure it out, because the language is a riddle. The ancient language, the mother tongue, was a very philosophical language. It's a language that was rooted in psychology. It's a language of wisdom and common sense. Common sense is no longer, viable in our times. For example, we just make up words. And most languages are words made up. What's the origin of Latin, for example? Why do these letters come together and make this meaning? They don't have that. They just kind of have a meaning. They point to the meaning, and that's what it is. But in the ancient Manakati languages, each letter has a meaning, and each letter, they express a hand sign. And so you can put the letters together and create a word that actually has meaning. And you could basically define the meaning of words in the mother language, Manakati, by the symbols. What language can actually do that? 22 letters, and you can create all kinds of words and express all kinds of meaning using your hands, using the actual symbols. And sometimes the actual symbols can actually create a picture. And sometimes I will show you examples of a picture meaning where all the symbols come together and create a picture. And sometimes I will show you the hand sign of a word. Sometimes there is no picture, but a hand sign. Sometimes it's the symbolic meaning where the word gets its meaning from another word that actually has a hand sign. So the language is fun. It's creative. So when you say Paleo Hebrew, it's really a poor question, because the Bible wasn't written in Hebrew. The Bible, the biblical words, they were not called Hebrew. This is a modern term, and it's incorrect. It comes from the word Ibadi, so they say, but the Ibadi people, which are the people of Abraham, they spoke Manakati. They spoke the original language, and this is where the confusion is. You have to acknowledge the mother tongue in order for you to know what you're actually asking for. So when I say ancient Hebrew, I'm literally just throwing that word around because I'm trying to get people in so I can tell them, look, it's not ancient Hebrew. I have to first tell you that it's not Hebrew. And then I have to tell you, okay, the Bible's written in Yahudit, but before then they were communicating in Manakati. And we have to be honest. All the sons of Noah spoke Manakati. So there are signs of Manakati in different languages. For example, in Aramaic, they call most of the alphabets the same as they do in Yahudit. The same word as in Hebrew, but the symbols will be different. Also, the symbols in modern Hebrew is different. They don't use the ancient Judean symbols. Okay, and so I guess ancient Judean would actually be the biblical, what people call biblical Hebrew. I do like the term biblical Hebrew. I don't really like to use it, but I feel like it's narrowing down that I'm talking about the Bible and I'm talking about the language of the scriptures, not Aramaic, but actual the language of the Jews. But I prefer Judean or Yahudit when I'm speaking concerning the scriptures. Manakati can be seen amongst the languages that evolved initially after the Tower of Babel. You can see Manakati amongst those languages, and sometimes Manakati will be there in the pure form, like on some stone writing. You can see Manakati. I'm actually going to translate those stones. I'm going to put that together. Download my app. I just got it up and running on Apple Store. You might see two apps. One is the app that I recently did, and the other one is old and it doesn't really work, and I'm going to get it removed. So please click on the new app, download it, because this is the one that I'm going to be making videos. If you notice, I'm making lots of videos back to back. I'm excited about this app. I'm going to be posting lots of content on this app, and I'm going to be organizing a lot of the information on this app. But I totally am still using the courses, like for example, to quiz you, but I'm going to be doing some some videos available on this YouTube channel, but it will all be organized on the app. So you could stay on YouTube and not download the app. You could go on my website, but I put information everywhere. And so good luck trying to find it. It's good. You're going to find it. You can go to manakati.com, free information. You can go to Primitive Sign Language. You can go to itari.com. You can go to my YouTube pages, my Instagrams, but I organize everything on the app, and I put stuff on the app that I don't put anywhere else. Because quite frankly, everybody doesn't want to know this information. Not everybody is ready. So ancient Hebrew, what is that? I mean, ancient Hebrew, there's I don't want to say his name because I don't put him out. I'll just say his name. Jeff Brenner. Jeff Brenner teaches ancient Hebrew. And he teaches that, for example, this is the hay symbol. This is what he says. It's basically a man with his arm out. I don't know how to draw it. I forget how to draw it. But, it goes like this. So this is what he teaches. He says that this is the original hay symbol. But what I used to follow his information. But what he's not being honest about is that there are no write-ins in what he's calling ancient Hebrew. He's just guessing. Much of the information out there is guesswork. These people who are guessing, they're throwing out theories, this and that, but they're not showing you solid proof. But if you're not asking the right questions, then you're not challenging them, how are you going to know? I mean, I wrote the book Primitive Sign Language, and I make all these videos. I'm not really getting challenged by people. Like, they ask me questions and I answer it. I don't know why I'm not getting challenged. And I thought I was going to get challenged, and I'm just not. I don't know. Maybe I'm explaining the words good. Maybe it's irrefutable. I don't know. But no one is challenging me. But there are no write-ins in what Jeff Brenner is calling ancient Hebrew. You'll see the symbol here and there, and he's attributing it to ancient Hebrew, and he's trying to say this is the pictorial Hebrew is actually ancient Hebrew, and I do not agree with that. There's no evidence. There's no documents with all the symbols on one page. He's just making it up, okay? And if you believe it, that's going to be the sad part. And so this is why I prayed to Yah to give me the knowledge of the origin of symbols. I said to Yah, we don't know. We don't know the origins of your symbols. How can we know what the Bible says if we don't know your origin? I said, please give it to me because you want us to know your word. And then he gave it to me. And so it's not, we're not going to discover it on our own if Yah doesn't give it to us. Okay, so good things come from Yah. So you know what Paleo Hebrew is? It's the oldest. It really shouldn't be. The Paleo Yahudit is the oldest writing of the Israelites, and that would be Yahudit. Ancient Yahudit is the same thing. It's kind of like I guess people who say ancient Hebrew, they might be talking about Manakati, like the language before the Israelites spoke. But to me, it makes me feel like when people say ancient Hebrew, like the language wasn't sophisticated or something. But either way, these words are all used interchangeably. Ancient Hebrew, Paleo Hebrew, Biblical Hebrew, they're all trying to find the origin of Hebrew, the very pure essence of Hebrew. And unfortunately, well, it's not really unfortunate. The answer is Manakati. And that is from hand signs, symbolic meaning, and when those symbols can come together and create a picture. And so check out my video, I Am Itari, to see what I have to say considering the hand signs. Check out my other videos on manakati.com. I have a free course there. Hope this video was enlightening. If you have any questions, throw it up on the comments. Let me know. Shalom. And don't forget to watch the video. I'll put it on the end. Watch the video about why Hebrew is not the biblical language. Shalom.